Good afternoon. My name is Josh Smith. I'll be doing a presentation today on SAP system security and customizing roles. Okay, I'll have a list of concepts. Why security, authorization concept, defining roles, types of roles. We got a profile generator. I'll also be describing the functionality of SU24 and how its relationship to profile generator. We have user and role authorization. I'll be focusing on single and composite roles, and I'll be showing you screenshots of those different transactions. Okay, why have security? SAP System Security ensures that all segregation of duties are in compliance with Sarbanes-Oxley. So this helps the users perform their daily responsibilities, provides accountability of user actions, limits access to certain update activities, restricts ability to view sensitive information, especially like FICO, financial documents and payroll and whatnot, supports audit trails of activities, protects systems from misuse, and also helps provide data integrity. Now in the authorization concept, we have object class, or authorization object, fields, and authorizations. Object class, it categorizes controlling objects according to their business functions, such as HR, sales distribution, materials management, customer service, and so on. Authorization object is objects and systems that potentially need protecting, such as the company code, document types, whatever other type of functions within the object class. Fields, that's attributes that can be set to certain protection, and your authorizations are the permissions granted to the users or groups to execute one or more permitted actions. Now, what are roles? A role is a grouping of privileges which can be assigned to users and groups. You've got business role, which is a set of tasks or functions that a user fulfills with an organization. You have the technical role, which is a grouping of authorizations, and your enterprise role, which is a set of all technical roles that correspond to your business role. Now, types of roles you can have in the system is a single role, contains authorization data required to perform functions and transactions in SAP. That's the initial setup of any type of role. It also comprises of your composite roles are always comprised of single roles. The composite role, like I said, it consists of single roles, can be assigned to a user or group within one or more role. You have a reference role and a derived role. Reference role, it's a role to create a master role or a parent role. And it's also used to create the derived roles, which you have to inherit into those. And the derived role is a role created from a reference role to be used throughout the organization with different authorizations and levels. Now, the profile generator, it uses T-code PFCG. It is a standard tool for maintaining roles in the SAP system. A role name is specified. Selection of either a single or a composite role is made. Description of the role is defined. And in the menu, you determine transactions and further objects that belong to that role. In authorization, you specify all the authorizations that are going to be applied within the levels of the company. And you can also specify and assign a user or a group in that role. Now, user and role authorization, you have your user, he's got the key, he's ready to start his day, but he needs the key to be able to function properly. So he's an OM administrator, as you can see, or analyst. He needs to use PPOCE, PPOME, and PPOSE to perform his job. So within his role menu, he's going to have those transactions listed, and that's one the functions that he's only able to see or to use. So we have to create a profile for him in Profile Generator, and in the authorizations, you're going to have authorization objects to add further permissions to him to be able to do that. You've got ST code, which is the start of those transactions that he has authorization to view or to use. Pplug, now it's very important for him because he's going to be analyzing organizational management. So he's going to have that authorization object in there. And he's going to also have porigin, which is access to the object class that he's permitted to. Now for the like I said, the SU24, the functionality of it, it contains a tables. It's usually it maintains the tables of USOBT_C and USOBX_C tables. These tables hold the relationships between the particular transactions and its authorization objects. Now the benefit of this transaction occurs when transactions are added or deleted from role groups using the profile generator. And basically, any other authorization object that you need to add to your authorization table, it needs to be checked in this table, so to speak, so you can actually add it. So it can be add the functionality of it. Without it, you would not be able to add it to your authorizations. So that kind of explains, what its purpose is, along with the profile generator, because I mean you would only have your basic authorizations without actually going through and checking this. It's usually in a proposal, and it enables you to propose the transactions that are going to be listed within the authorization object. Good. Okay, now in the PFCG, we're going to create a single role, and usually it starts off by you would give it a name, or the name of the role is determined, and you would create, and then you would give that role a description along with the long text, and usually that comes from the business blueprint. You'll entail what functions that role is going to have, T codes, authorizations, and you would put all that in the long text. And furthering the single role, you would design the in menu. You would start off by the folders which the functions are contained into, basically location. Here they added the transaction code, and then you would assign it to the menu that you created for them. And then you would change the authorization data, and you start off by determining the plan version and the levels that those authorizations are pertaining to. And in here, you're going to check the remaining authorization objects for permissions, porigin, pplug, and so on and so forth. And then after you've designated all the permissions that they have for that role, you're going to save it. And as you can see here, after saving your authorization, you've pretty much created the profile for them, and it's saved in the role that you created. And after doing that, you're going to assign a user or group to it, and you can compare the user that's permitted or group for that role. Now the composite role, it's basically the same as a single role, except you're going ahead and describe or give it the name, and instead of single role, you're going to click on composite role. And the same thing, you're going to give it a description, and then you're going to assign the roles that are going to be for that composite role. And it could be, just a couple, or maybe you have 3 or 4 different roles that are permitted for that that particular position or group. And then after assigning the roles, you would import the menus that you've already created for those single roles, and that would show up in the end menu. And then after doing so, just like with single role, you're going to assign a user or group, and then compare or use the user comparison to complete that. Now, say you don't have a user yet, or you're doing a test user, you would go into T-code US 01, and you would put in the name, or you would create a username. In this case, I did test 83, and then you would go into the attributes to create who the user is, their name, the communication, telephone number, email, whatnot. And then you just go down through the tabs. The next one would be for the login data, which is very important. You would determine what their initial password is going to be. So when they first log in, they're going to have to change their password. And then you would set the defaults for that user. So yeah, so you basically just go down the list of tabs in the maintain user. It's if you were to save in any of these tabs, it would immediately kick you out of this transaction. So it's important that you go through the tabs and just check all the different fields and make sure you have the correct information for them. You can also assign a role directly on the user as well. That can be done, but it's also it makes more sense to assign the role within the profile generator because you can immediately test it after that.
Here.
Right there?
Yes. Now over there, this part on the left side on top, the small, this one here. From how the system determines the authorization object over there. How you get them, how the system knows based on your transactions code to propose or to generate for you here p-origin for master data over there. See that?
Well, that'd be pulled from the SU24 table.
Can
That would be the defaults listed within those table parameters.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Is it? Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Well done.